What happens when a really personal tragedy like a murder just explodes online? It becomes public, amplified, twisted even, seen by millions.
Yeah.
It's complex, it's viral, and it's exactly what we're going to dig into today. We're focusing on the murder of Bianca Devins in 2019.
A truly horrific case.
Absolutely. And we're going to unpack the sources we have here, looking at the people involved, the terrible events, that unprecedented online reaction, and, well, the legal and social fallout that's still felt today.
Right. And our mission here really is to pull out the key insights, not just the what happened, but crucially, why it matters. This case, it sits right at this difficult intersection of relationships, mental health, and the sheer power of social media to amplify everything. For better, or in this case, much worse.
Yeah.
We'll look at the different perspectives, the ripple effects, basically give you a shortcut to understanding why this incident was and is so significant in our digital age.
Okay, let's start with Bianca Michelle Devins. She was 17, from Utica, New York, had plans, aspirations.
Yeah, she wanted to study psychology at Mohawk Valley Community College.
But her life wasn't simple, was it? The sources mentioned struggles.
No, not at all. A lot of young people, she dealt with significant mental health challenges. History of depression, anxiety, BPD, PTSD.
Wow.
Yeah, it led to her being in and out of the hospital during her teens. And feeling isolated, she, like many, found community online. That was her refuge.
That makes sense.
It's also worth mentioning she'd actually faced online harassment before from incels for a couple of years. But, and this is important, police reports later said there wasn't a direct link between that specific harassment or the incel movement and what Clark did.
Okay, that's a key clarification. So let's talk about Brandon Andrew Clark. He was 21 at the time. What do we know about him?
Well, his childhood sounds traumatic, specifically witnessing his father holding his mother at knife point. A really harrowing event.
God.
And yet, Bianca's mother's first impression of him.
It was very nice, polite. That's what she said. Which, just highlights the contrast with everything that came later. Definitely. And their relationship, it seems complicated. How do people see it?
Very complicated.
Yeah.
And perceived very differently. They met on Instagram, April 2019, so not that long before the murder.
Okay.
Police described it as personally intimate, but friends, family. They pushed back on that.
Really?
Yeah. Bianca apparently told her mom she didn't want to date him, but her mom felt he wanted more. And you have Bianca's sister calling him a trusted family friend. But on the other hand, one of Bianca's friends was worried, thought he was exploiting her, even alleged he supplied drugs to get her to spend time with him.
Wow, so completely different views. That's really striking. It shows how little we sometimes know about what's really going on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The sources really just lay out these conflicting views. It doesn't delve much into how Bianca saw it from her perspective, more about how others perceived it.
Right.
It just underscores how complex relationships can be, especially, under these circumstances. And that disconnect becomes even more tragic when we look at what happened next.
Okay, let's go there. The night of the murder, July 13th, 2019, Bianca, Brandon, and a friend, Alex.
Right, they went to a Nicole Dollanganger concert in New York City.
On the way back to Utica, there was an argument, apparently about a kiss between Bianca and Alex.
That seems to be the trigger, yes. And then later, Bianca fell asleep in the back seat of the car.
And that's when?
That's when Clark attacked her, used a long knife he'd hidden near his seat, sliced her neck. She died early on July 14th. Her body nearly decapitated. It's horrific.
Just awful. And his actions right after? Leaving her body, building a bonfire, listening to music, calling family like it was a suicide note.
Yeah, prompting him to call 911, but he wasn't done. And this is where the digital element just explodes.
Tell us about that, his online activity.
This is what makes the case so unique and disturbing. He posted photos of Bianca's body on Discord.
Oh, God.
With the caption, "Sorry fuckers, you're gonna have to find somebody else to orbit."
Orbit. What does that mean in this context?
It's online slang, basically following someone obsessively online, asking other users for pictures of them, sometimes escalating to stalking.
Chilling.
And he didn't just post photos. A video of the murder itself was also created.
Unbelievable. How quickly did police find out?
Incredibly fast. By 7 a.m., people on Discord who saw the images were calling the police. They got numerous calls.
Including from Clark himself.
Yes, including one from Clark. Police then contacted Bianca's family, but tragically they were also finding out because people were sending the images directly to them.
That's unimaginable. And Clark's call to 911.
It was chilling. He said, "My name is Brandon. The victim is Bianca Michelle Devins. I'm not going to stay on the phone for long because I still need to do the suicide part of the murder-suicide."
Wow. So when the police arrived,
He stabbed himself in the neck. Not fatally. Then he lay down on a green tarp that was covering Bianca's body. And he posted more photos online, right there.
while the police were there,
As they were arriving, yes. They also found a suicide note and a message. "May you never forget me."
Hmm.
Clearly wanted this to be seen.
it sounds like premeditation was suspected early on. The knife, the video equipment.
Absolutely. Police thought so. Stariant Michael Curley suggested Clark wanted fame from this, and the assistant DA, Sarah DeMellier, said he gave different reasons for the killing to different people.
And his search history.
Yeah, that was revealing. Searches for how to find the carotid artery, how to incapacitate or kill, searches for choking, hanging.
It really blurs that line, doesn't it, between some kind of dark curiosity and actual dangerous intent.
It absolutely does. And the intent seemed to be not just the act, but the spectacle, which leads us straight into the online storm that followed.
Right. The immediate fallout online was huge.
Colossal. Images of Bianca's body just spread like wildfire. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere.
And places like 4chan.
Oh, yeah.
Duh.
Big traction there. Hundreds of posts, some praising Clark, calling it another 4chan murder.
Celebratory posts on incel forums, too, like incels.co, 8chan.
Hashtag Bianca trended briefly, but was drowned out. And then you had the ghouls, fake fundraising sites, accounts promising the images for likes or follows. Just awful.
A total nightmare. But there was pushback, too.
There was. A counter movement started. Hashtag Pink Clouds for Bianca. People shared artwork, photos of pink clouds, trying to flood out the horrible images with something beautiful, something representing her.
That's something, at least. A community trying to fight back.
Yeah, it showed that contradictory power of the internet, right? The absolute worst, but also people trying to reclaim something positive.
But amidst all that, there was also a lot of bad information flying around.
Oh, definitely. Misinformation, rumors,
Yeah.
like prominent people on Twitter wrongly labeling Clark an incel, even though police specifically said there wasn't a connection found to the movement itself in this crime.
Right. And the human cost of seeing those images. It must have been immense.
Profound. James Densley, a criminal justice professor, pointed out the potential for trauma just from viewing them.
And for Bianca's family.
It was devastating. Her stepfather had flashbacks. Her sister saw the images in her mind when trying to sleep. Her mother developed PTSD. Nicole Dollanganger, the singer whose concert they attended, pleaded publicly for people to stop sharing them.
Just heartbreaking, the trauma inflicted over and over again online.
It really highlights how digital violence has tangible, real-world, devastating consequences.
So what about the platforms? Instagram, Facebook, what did they do?
They reacted. They removed Clark's accounts,
Huh?
tried to stop the images spreading. Facebook used a digital fingerprint database to block them, blacklisted a related hashtag. Discord shut down the server Clark used.
But how effective was it, really?
Well, that's where the criticism comes in. Heavily criticized, actually. Users trying to report the photos on Instagram were apparently told they didn't violate guidelines.
Seriously?
Yeah, that caused outrage. Images stayed up on Instagram for days, according to reports. Bianca's mom said they were still on Facebook months later. Prosecutors confirmed finding them months after. Bianca's sister was still receiving them nearly 2 years later.
2 years. So the efforts weren't enough. Was it even possible for them to stop it completely, given how fast things spread?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Henny Freed, a digital forensics expert, was scathing. He argued the companies had the tools and their failure to act effectively bordered on the criminal, even if technically legal.
Strong words.
It shows the massive challenge. The tech exists, maybe, but deployment, speed, scale,
Yeah.
it's a constant battle. And the viral spread just outpaces the controls. It's like trying to catch smoke.
Yeah. So by July 15th, just a day later, this wasn't just an online horror story, it was mainstream news.
Absolutely. Probably the most publicized case ever of a murder documented and spread on social media like that.
And interestingly, Bianca's follower count jumped massively after her death, from around 2,000 to 75,000 almost overnight, which led some early reports to kind of overstate how famous she was beforehand.
Right, a common thing in these situations. And everyone, it seemed, was trying to find meaning in it. Melissa Jeltsin at HuffPost wrote, everyone wanted it to mean something.
How were people interpreting it?
A lot of different ways. Some saw it through the lens of domestic violence, abusive male partners, that well-worn story, as Elizabeth Doran put it.
Toxic masculinity, misogyny.
Exactly. That was a major thread.
Yeah.
Others like Queenie Wong and CNET and James Dinsley again, focused on the social media angle, the platform's failures, the internet's role in the whole thing.
Were there comparisons drawn to other events?
Yes, chillingly, some commentators noted parallels with the Christchurch shooter. Both Clark and that attacker repeated the "subscribe to PewDiePie" meme after their acts.
Suggesting some shared online influence, maybe? Or desire for notoriety?
Perhaps. It definitely points to some disturbing overlap in online subcultures. And many, including Bianca's mother, saw Clark's actions after the murder, the posting online, as a final, twisted act of control.
That makes sense. Asserting power even after death.
And criminologists weighed in too. Alison Margansky suggested his behavior fit profiles of violent men who feel emasculated and lash out to assert strength, using the public spectacle to do it.
It's fascinating and horrifying how one event gets refracted through so many different lenses. Domestic violence, platform failure, toxic masculinity, control.
It really became a symbol for a lot of anxieties about the modern world, both online and off.
Okay, so let's track the legal side. What happened to Clark?
He initially pleaded not guilty. Second-degree murder charge, July 29th, 2019.
And there was more trouble in jail.
Yeah. Later charged with promoting prison contraband. They found a shiv he'd made from a toothbrush in his cell. Shows a continued volatility.
And that letter he wrote, bragging about the killing.
Disturbing stuff. Detailing how it felt, saying his motive was that he couldn't handle the thought of her walking out of his life. Just chilling entitlement and lack of remorse at that point.
So did he go to trial?
No. He changed his plea. Pleaded guilty in February 2020.
But then tried to take it back.
He did, yeah. In June 2020, tried to withdraw the plea. Claimed his lawyer had failed him. But the judge denied that request.
So the guilty plea stood, and the sentence?
March 16th, 2021, he was sentenced. 25 years to life in prison. He did formally express remorse at the sentencing, for what that's worth.
Right. And outside the courtroom, Bianca's family, especially her mother, they didn't just grieve, they pushed for change.
It really did. Kimberly Devins worked with Congressman Anthony Brindisi, calling for social media companies to do more about graphic content.
Did that lead anywhere with the companies?
Instagram apparently promised an audit, but Brindisi said he never got the results. He also asked the FTC to investigate.
But it did lead to legislative efforts. Bianca's Law.
Yes. Bianca's Law was introduced in September 2020. The idea was to make large social media platforms, ones with significant revenue and user numbers, set up dedicated offices to find and remove violent content faster.
Did it pass?
A version of it did pass in New York State. The Assembly passed it in January 2022. It criminalizes posting or sharing personal images, specifically to degrade or abuse someone under certain conditions. Governor Hochul signed it into law late December 2022.
So some concrete legal change came out of this horror.
Some, yes. And there was other related legislation proposed too by Button, Sean, and Griffo, looking at penalties for spreading crime victim images, specifically to glorify the act or harass the family.
It's a slow process, law catching up with technology, isn't it? But important steps. And how is Bianca herself being remembered? Beyond the law.
Her family set up a scholarship in her name for students going into psychology, which was her dream.
That's wonderful.
And early in 2020, friends and family held the B Gala. It was a celebration of her life, showcased her art, and raised money for the scholarship fund, keeping her memory alive positively.
That's really good to hear, a way to counter the darkness. But I understand the family faced yet another hurdle, something involving the district attorney's office.
Yes, unfortunately. In July 2021, they actually sued the Oneida County DA's office.
Sued the DA, why?
They alleged the office distributed incredibly sensitive materials. They found out, apparently from documentary filmmakers, that the DA's office had given those filmmakers footage of Bianca's death. Footage of her having sex, contents from her phone, nude photos, and allegedly this material was also given to a YouTube blogger who filed a Freedom of Information, or FOIL, request.
Oh my God. That's another layer of violation from the very people meant to seek justice for her.
Exactly. It raises massive questions about how sensitive evidence is handled, about victim privacy, about the ethics within the justice system itself when dealing with digital material like this.
Wow. Just when you think the story can't get more complex or heartbreaking, that really underscores the ongoing challenges long after the headlines fade.
It absolutely does. The digital footprint of a tragedy just keeps creating new problems, new harms that need addressing.
Well, this has been quite a deep dive. It's really shown how Bianca Devins' murder became this pivotal, tragic case study for our time. Violence, mental health, the role of online platforms, the legal system struggles, it's all tangled together.
It truly is. And it leaves us, and you listening, with some heavy questions to think about, doesn't it? How do we, as individuals, as a society, get better at handling these situations where private horror goes massively public online?
Yeah.
What does this mean for privacy going forward? For holding platforms accountable, for protecting vulnerable people in these digital spaces that are so much a part of our lives now? There are no easy answers.
Not at all. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive.